Hello students, welcome back. Today we'll be continuing the same chapter, that is chapter number 7, conservation of plants and animals. In the previous topic uh, we have discussed about some natural resources, and we have also discussed what do you mean by the conservations. We have also discussed the aim of conservation, and we have discussed the most important topic, that is deforestations, and why deforestation is caused. And we also learn if continuous deforestation is continuous deforestation take place, then what will be the consequence of the deforestation. Today, before we start more details about the remaining topic like biodiversity, conservation of forests. First of all, I just want to recall again what's the deforestation. In the previous topic, we have discussed the deforestations, and here we are just recalling the things again. Deforestation is what is the clearings or cuttings of tree or a forest over a large area. De means decrease, forest or means a tree or a forest over a large areas. Okay, deforestation. Deforestation means what? Decreasings or cuttings or clearings of forest over large areas is what we call as the deforestations. Okay, now we see how to overcome the problems of deforestation. Why we are cutting? Okay, so the most important that we have learned regarding deforestation is what? The thing is that the overcrowded of the populations, day by day the populations are increasing. So that means we need more land. We need more land for our survival. We need more land for our for the development purpose, and then we cut down all the trees. Okay, so another thing is what, for the gm cultivations or many more we have discussed about this in the previous topics. Okay, and some things that we have to reduce in the deforestation is what you see is what, reduce the consumptions of peppers. Okay, you see, to overcome the problem of deforestation, you see, due to the increasing demands, and due to the what is it, the causes which is deforestation that we will discuss about is the consumptions of the peppers. Okay, so consumptions of the pepper, we are using the pepper in your schools, we are using a pepper in our schools, in your homes, right, everywhere. So whenever we use the peppers, what is it, we whatever we don't write, we try to waste it, right? So in order, we should be avoiding all those things. Okay, then is that recycling of the peppers, we have to be again understand reforestations. Okay, so these are something that we have to overcome the deforestations. Okay, so more detailedly we will discuss some more about the deforestation or conservations of forest and wildlife in this topic. Okay, so you see, first of all, we will learn about the conservations of this. Let's try to understand the term that is called biodiversity, biospheres, flora and fauna. Okay, you see, the part of earth in which the living organism exists or that support life is known as a biosphere. Bio means life, sphere means space. Okay, so biosphere means what? Biosphere means bio, bio, biology, biospheres. Okay, biodiversity. So whenever the words come bio, that is means that refer to the life. Okay, biology is the studies about the life, right? Biosphere means biospace means where the life exists. Sphere means space. Okay, the part of the earth in which the living organism exists, so or that support life is known as a biosphere. Okay, so biosphere consists of your land, water, air, all together combinations of all this. But if only the land is there, then what we call lithospheres. If the water is already there, that means what we call a hydrosphere. If air is already there, that is what we call as atmosphere, right? So in the same way, biosphere is a comprising of all the lithosphere, biosphere, hydrospheres, atmospheres. Okay, by combining all these different types of spheres, we form a special space. That space is what we call a biosphere, where the living organisms live. Okay, where the living organism can support their life. Okay, so you see, why this biodiversity? You can see the pictures out here. You see, in a single hand there is a lot of animals, birds, plant, right? Different types of plant, different types of animal. We can see insects, for everything. Okay, so biodiversity means biological diversities. Okay, refer to the varieties of life on earth. This is the varieties of life on earth. This is, you see here, you see different types of life on earth. Okay, well, you see different water animals, land animals. Okay, Even animals are there. Different types of life. It's your plant is there. Okay. So what is it? Biodiversity refers to the varieties of life on Earth at all it levels from a genes to ecosystem and can encompass the evolutions and ecological and cultural process that sustain life. Okay, so that is what biodiversity said. Biodiversity means you can simply refer to the varieties of organisms like plants and animals who are existing on the are different types of biodiversities or biological diversity means what? It refers to the varieties of life on Earth. Okay, life on Earth and the varieties of life on Earth or the organisms that exist on the Earth. Okay, that is what we call as a biodiversity. You see. Next, we have a flora and fauna. Flora means what? The plant found in a particular area. The plant found in a particular area are termed as the flora areas. Okay, that means the plant is referred. The flora is referred to the plant. Okay, fauna is referred to the animals. Okay, the animal that found in a particular area are termed as the fauna of that areas. Okay, so that is what flora means. It is a plant, and fauna means it is the animals. Refer to the animals. Okay, so remember, I think you are clear about this one. So so let's try to study about these conservations of forests and the wildlife. Is the conservations of how we are going to conserve our forests or how we are going to conserve the biodiversity. Okay, so biodiversity conservation. What is the first thing? Is the cuttings of trees should be avoided. Deforestation should be avoided. Okay, continuous cutting downs of trees should be avoided. You can see. Okay, you can see in the pictures. So mostly the pictures. These pictures really speak all. Okay, these pictures define show us everything. Okay, so what do you see? This man is trying to plant a tree, and after when he planted, and after some years he can get a shade, he can get a shelters, everything from this plant. You see here, since sun, the temperatures are increasing day by day, but here you see our hotness, the temperatures are increasing, but here the plant, due to a plant, he can easily move around, right? You can easily move happily, right? So that is what these pictures speak a lot. These pictures speak a lot. You see, cuttings of trees should be avoided. First thing, what is it? Cuttings of trees, that means deforestation should be avoided, or plantings of trees should be undertaken. The plantings of tree is what we also call as a afforestation. Plantings of tree, you should advise, you should encourage your friends to plant more trees, right? So this should be there. Huntings of animal which is banned should be strictly enforced. You see, many organisms you might have seen in many jungles, right? You might have seen many jungles in our own areas also, right? Many signboards are being pasted in every forest, right? Why? They are banning all these huntings of animals. But we are just keeping the notice, but we are not strictly enforcing them. So we should avoid huntings of animals. Why? Because some animals may extinct anytime. So we have to preserve them. We have to conserve them. Okay. So we have to conserve them. So illegal trade in animal skins and illegal tax should be checked. Okay. So many people are there like who are illegally and they are killing the animals and they are trying to import and export the animal skin. This should be checked. Okay, by the forest department. It's the dependence number 6, number 5. Dependence on the wood as a fuel should be reduced. We are always using the firewood as our own fuel, right? We should reduce them, and we should get an ideas with an alternate source of energy should be encouraged. Okay. Next is that protected areas to be established. Okay, as much as possible, like we must try to establish a protected area like national park, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves. Okay, so these are some protected areas that need to be established as soon as possible. Effective system to prevent and fight forest fires to be established. You see, effective systems to prevent and fight. Okay, forest. You see, this year's or the last years we have heard of Amazon forest got burned down. Okay, many forests got burned down. We have heard about this. So in order to fight up all those forest fires or whatever it is, we need to be very ready. We need to be ever ready with all those systems. Okay, effective systems should be there. Like continue fast relief and rescue should be there. Okay, rescue and a relief system should be there. Okay, so that we can move. It will not be, if the forest fire burn, it will not be much impact on our environments. Okay. So regular survey to monitor the populations of all the species in the forest to be conducted. You see whether your like animal populations are increasing or decreasing. Every time we have to monitor them. Every time we have to check them. Okay, we have to take a survey of all those animals, the populations of all these animals. Okay, birds or whatever it is. So we need to encounter them. We need to check them. We need to monitor them. So that if something is, see if some animals are getting extincting day by day, if they are finishing day by day, and if we have to know why it is, whether it is done by, it is hunted by the animals, or whether it is due to the temperature differences. So we have to study about their problems. Okay, so in this way we have to check the surveys to monitors. Okay, next is what law to conserve a biodiversity be enacted. We should enact a lot of different types of law. Different types of law should be enacted and strictly enforced of it. Environment awareness programs should be conducted. You see, every day we are what is it? We are observing 5th June as an environment day, right? So during this, not only during this, we have to encourage every time what will be the positive impact and what will be the negative impact if our environment get destroyed. So every then and now we should give an environment awareness programs. Okay, how we are getting the benefit from the environment and what should we do to the environment and what should we not do to the environment. So all this environment awareness programs should be conducted everywhere. Okay, it should be either conducted everywhere. Even though if you are not conducting awareness programs in like a mass awareness program physically, so we have to advertise them in a newspaper. We have to let it know through the televisions and news, right? So in this way we should encourage and we should teach to the peoples that environment should be protected, environment, and or we should conserve the forest or wildlife. Okay, so NGOs should be provide encouragement to undertake conservation work. So you see, I just want to give you one of the most important NGOs organization. I don't know whether they are NGOs or not, but I've been seeing in a Mon town like one art keeping. I think art keeping. They are taking a fabulous jobs. Okay, they're doing some fabulous job by protecting the mounds. They're trying to clean up the mounds, right, and keeping and setting up the dustbins in every corner, every nook and corners of the mound. So these the groups of NGOs like this art keeping in a mound, these unions are trying to they are trying to save. Okay, they are trying to clean. They are trying to make it clean. They are trying to save the environment by not disposing the unwanted material directly to the environment, right? So they are trying to clean up. So we have to follow them. Okay. So like that, many NGOs should give an ideas to the public, or they should set up some encouragements works, or they should do some conservative work together, right? By planting the trees, okay, by supporting to the poor public peoples. Okay, so in this way NGOs, non-government organizations should start some different encouragement or conservative works. Okay, so where our environments will be served. So these are some steps to conserve the environments. Okay, you have to keep it in mind. Okay, we have 11 conservative mind. We have an 11 conservative step 11 steps to conserve the forest and wildlife. Next, you see conservations of the forest also can be done. Okay, forest or wildlife can also be conserved by setting up an area like Biosphere Reserve, wildlife sanctuaries, national parks. Okay, so we can also conserve the forest. Okay, we can also conserve the forest or wildlife forest. Okay, or wildlife animals by enacting the law. Like in India we have a following. We have an aim like we have enacted some law. The first is the preservation and conservation of forests. The second is what to meet the basic needs of protected living around the forest area. We have two different acts. One is Forest Act 1997. Another is like Wildlife Protection Act 1972, amendment in 1991. Okay, so Indian government have passed a Wildlife Sanctuary Act in 1972, under which to protect the area of like national park, okay, wildlife sanctuaries, and have been created. Biosphere Reserve have been created since 1986. Okay, biospheres have been created since 1986. Under this conservations of, as we have told you, under the conservations of forests and wildlife, or wildlife can be like our Biosphere Reserve, wildlife sanctuaries. You see, The picture you see, if your parents have a lot of monies, but if the plant isn't, if we don't have any plant, what is use of that monies, right? Monies, we are not going to get any oxygen from the monies, right? So what is the use of that money? So plant is very much important. You see, what is a biosphere reserve? Okay, biosphere reserve a large area of protected land for conservation of biodiversity and traditional life of the tribal living. Biosphere means what? It is a conservation or it is a protecting the large areas. Okay, it is a protecting the large area in order to conserve the biodiversity. Okay, in order to conserve the different life of the different species. Okay, different animals, different organisms. Okay, and not only the different organisms that live in that forest, but also to preserve or to also and to preserve the traditional life of the tribal peoples. Like we Kunyaks are the tribal peoples. We have our own traditional. We have our own way of living. Okay, so if biosphere reserve are there, they will also preserve our traditionals also. Okay, so in this the biosphere reserve is what? It is a large area where they can protect the land for conservation. Okay, conservations of biosphere biodiversity, and also traditional life of the tribal living there also will be conserved. Okay, national park area reserved for the wildlife there can freely use the habitats and natural resources. What is the natural parks are those areas, okay, where the wildlife for the wildlife, okay, where they can freely use any habitats and then natural resources. Though if the national park is there, that means that area, okay, that is the area where they can freely use that habitat in order for a particular wildlife or particular organisms. Okay, now wildlife sanctuaries are area where animals are protected from any disturbance to them in their habitat. As you see, wildlife sanctuaries means what? We are not going to in a national park we have a bounded areas, but in a wildlife sanctuaries whatever, it will be protected. No, totally it will be open. It will be open space for the animals who are living in that forest. Okay, who are living in that forest. So it will be given a complete check down will be done by the forest department in order to see whether somebody is coming for huntings or whether somebody is cutting down the trees, unnecessarily cutting down the trees or not. Okay, so these are some steps of conservation of forest. Okay, next we have next we have a biosphere reserve. What is a biosphere reserve? As I already told you, biosphere reserve are the area of protected land for conservation of biodiversity and the traditional life of the tribal living there. Okay, biosphere reserve. Okay, in India, you see the biosphere reserve. What is it? The biosphere reserve, as mentioned, as we have discussed, and the area means for conservation, okay, for of the biodiversity, that is plant, animals, and microorganisms present in that area. Okay. In addition to this, they also help in protecting the traditional life of. They also help in protecting the traditional life of tribal living Indians. Okay. Now, in biosphere reserve, okay. So in biosphere reserve, what is it? The biosphere reserve. The biosphere reserve, what is it? Uh, Reserve may also contain the other protected area like national parks, sanctuaries. For example, like Pachmari Biosphere Reserve consists of one national park named Satpura, and two wildlife sanctuary named Bori and Pachmari. Okay, you can also see in the picture. So these are some way of conserving the natural resources. Okay, so in the next videos we will discuss about the endemics and endangered species, then Project Tiger and Red Data. So three different topics that we will discuss in the next video lectures, and we will be completing these chapters. Okay, so please try to go through all these video lectures and try to solve it. I will be giving the assignments or whatever it is there in the next video lectures. Okay, thank you, bye bye.